Kush Sovereignty 2, Black Love Chapter 1, Mamalia. Teres alake that sits in the northwest corner of a town known to many as Tallulah, in the state of Louisiana. This lake, which has no name, is fed by many small streams filled with catfish, bass, perch, bream, and crayfish that many referred to as crawdads. In the southwestern corner of this lake lies 99 acres of land, and the land itself was filled with wildlife, where the locals referred to as God 18. This land also yielded various herbs and spices that grew wild. The skin surrounding this area was unique and relaxing. However, this lake, this land in this town, had been in this family for centuries and was marked off by a fence with signs that read "No trespassing." They put these signs up for strangers, for the people in this community knew better. Weeping willows, wrapped over the lake like an umbrella. A variety of pine, magnolia, and sycamore trees covered the land. A few hammocks were strategically planted, where one would just lie down and sleep away their problems, for the smell of lemon balm, thyme, and lavender, which were planted for aromatherapy. This lake, this land, and this lady who owned the land stood 5 foot tall, was as healthy as a bull and had the strength of one. One Migtsaishe was the town's psychologist, counselor, herbalist, and healer. She was married for 50 years to her late husband, Joseph, whom many called Papa Joe. Their marriage was a blissful union, and all saw it as a valid symbol of what love and marriage looks like. They bore 13 children, all of whom were intelligent and wise. She had the courage of 10 men and the wisdom unknown to anyone nearby. She lived alone now, but was never lonely. People would come from miles to listen to her knowledge, and she had the humor many enjoyed. Before his untimely death, just like his wife, Papa Joe enjoyed helping people. He took to abandoned buildings on their property and renovated them to do just that. Papa Joe built their home in front of 2 abandoned buildings. These abandoned buildings were ancestral centuries ago. Rigged Elementary, where he made half of it into a community center and the other half a vegetable and herb garden for his wife, and Reuben Mitchell Higgs School stood to the left side of their home. The Higgs School had 2 large doors, which were placed on the south side of the building, where he kept refrigerated equipment for the mates. Solar panels were mounted on the roofs of all the buildings. The Higgs School's second floor was a processing facility for butchering and curing the mates. On the north side of the building were plenty of cows, goats, and one enormous fish tank, one called only Imagine, and located around the building were plenty of fowls, turkeys, ducks, and chickens. Rigged Elementary also had a few fowls here and there, but it was mostly used for herbs, fruits, and vegetables. There were also infused oils, essential oils, and homemade soap. They also added a second story for homeless people who helped around the plate. The couple enjoyed teaching and educating the orphans and special needs individuals who lived within the area until Papa Joe's death. Shortly after, their children left home to start a family of their own. This same lad started feeding and making hemp clothing for many of the needy people in the area. Many of those whom she helped would come and help her with these facilities as a sign of appreciation for the unwavering generosity she had shown to them. She always had more help than needed, but never rejected their support. This lake, this land, and this property belong to Kakahoya, which means my eldest little sister, but everyone called her Mamalia. Being a descendant of White Bear, Sheto, cold trate her lineage as far back as the birth of Adam, the first man, and she was proud of that. She spoke 8 different languages, including sign language. Mamalia was a spiritual woman who talked to us about regularly and was often visited by Mlezi, Yael, and Msheka. She had a gift that allowed her to be emotionally linked to individuals, take knew it and loved her for her compassion. She would help people whether she knew you or not, just the thought of someone being in distress before that thought was even processed. Mansai Mamalian would be there knocking on your door with food, clothing or whatever was needed, and then some. On a thing. About Mamalian, she didn't play when it came to people trying to take advantage of her and hers. If you didn't know her, it would have been the only way anyone would dare it. She was not afraid of death, and knew martial art just as well as any man. She was a hilarious woman and a woman who loved love. Only homeless man living in her establishment was an old man named Valley from Delhi, Louisiana. He had been there for a few years after his wife died. It was said that they found him wandering towards in disbelief, confusion, and depression. Mamalian went looking for him on a day and found him in a lake fully clothed, lounging and shouting at the fish. Valley! Valley! Shouted Mamalian. Kakahoya! Is that you? Valley replied. No, you old fart. I'm a black bear coming to eat your ass now. Tell me, what you doing in this pond acting like a fool for? Climbing out of the pond as Mamalian reached out her hand to help him, if you don't get your ass out of this water. Valley, crying, looked up at Mamalian, niwife used to come here and fish, a very so often. Mamalian looked at Valley. Baby, your wife has been gone damn near a year now. Valley cried out loudly. How long will I feel this pain? Mamalian smiled always. As long as you loved her, that pain will never go away. No, you got to snap out of it and gone on back home. Valley shook his head. No, Kakahoya, I could never go back there. You can have it at house, and do as you please with it. The kids are gone, and it's just me now. Mamalian felt his pain. Well, I just finished making some extra rooms out of rigged elementary. You can stay there until you are ready. You can't stay here in the woods like your ass is John the Baptist. Come on here, cause you smell like two skunks during mating season. Valley immediately moved into rigged elementary, taking only the clothes on his back and helping Mamalian around the plate. He was a very hard worker, and soon he knew everything that had to be done, like clockwork, and has worked there ever since. He took charge of the plate whenever Mamalian had to travel. Valley! Valley! Shouted Mamalian. Yes ma'am, said Valley. Man, what I done told you about you calling me ma'am. Werete same age, and you got me feeling like I'm much older than you, even though you look tweete me age. No, how many times have I asked you to call me Mamalian or Kakahoya? Valley sighed. Yes. Valley cowed himself. Yes, Kakahoya. You needed something. Mamalian sighed. Have someone go fetch me grandson, Kush, and tell his mother I need him for a few days. We gotta go to Lake Providente. Together. Valley sighed. Yes, ma'am. She looked at Valley. If you keep yes, ma'aming me. Me and you gonna fight with your ugly ass. Valis miled, well, what all do you need for your trip? I'll get some of the help to pack up our gun for ya. Mamalia sighed. Yeah, damn. Och, I don't need. Some stuff he paid up, you're always a step ahead of me old man. I need. Scratching her head, who, give me about 6 dozen eggs, a casse of chicken, 2 casses of fish, and half a cow, butchered up neat and pretty like. Bring me a vegetable casse filled with okra, tomatoes, onions, and things like that there. She shook her head and sighed to herself, who, that should do it. Valley walked off and told a few men what she needed, and they rushed off with his team. Cush was 14, and had less than a month before he turned 15. He was a brigand as well as a handsome young man. His loads were on his shoulders. He had read the Torah over 40 times, and he would often visit his grandmother. During this time, a minor conflict was brewing up between the Wakatilians and the Anacatas over the Mississippi Bridge. The Anacatas were trying to charge a very high toll to cross it. Samuel had gathered up 5,000 Wakatilians and had been gone for months, occasionally returning for a day or two. Kush was walking up to Mamalian's house. Hey, yo. What you walking for? Did he not say to make haste? I'm trying to get to Lake Providence before Christmas, and it's my. If you don't hurry your ass up, you got everybody waiting on your ass. Mamalia shouted. Kush started running. Yes, ma'am. Looking at Valley Wille pointing at Kush, you say, he can't call me ma'am. Your old ass can't. Valley smiled. Yes, ma'am. Mamalia laughed and quickly frowned. Ha ha he he hell. I'ma knock your ass out one of these die. Keep playing with me, just keep playing with me. By that time, Kush had jumped on the wagon and she shouted to the 6 horses pulling her wagon, get there up. What's the matter, baby? Kush looked up at her. Ain't nothing wrong, Mamalia. She stared at him. Do you know who you're talking to? Kush smiled because Mamalia had that gift. At times, Naone enjoyed being around her because she felt their emotions as her own, and she knew when you were lying. So, if you didn't want her to know something, you simply just didn't go around her. However, even that wouldn't work. She would come looking for you and tell you how she felt your presence, whether it was happy or sad. She knew it. Yes, Mamalia, Kush sighed. He paused. There's this girl. She interrupted him. I knew it. Embarrassed, he sighed. No, Mamalia. She had to move to Lake Providence, cause her father gone during this Mississippi Bridge conflict, and her mother had to take care of her mother, cause her grandfather gone as well. Mamalia sighed. Son, love is strong, yet a powerful thing. One of our ancestors was so much in love that he waited for nearly 35 years to marry the love of his life, at the ripe old age of 55. They had their only child, Justine. Mamalia saw he was still embarrassed, and left it at that. 30 minutes had passed, and they were heading north to the bend on Highway 65. Mamalia and Kush had a trivia game they played when they were together from time to time, and she loved how well he played her favorite game. Who was Joseph Chatoyer? Mamalia asks. Kush sighed. The Caribbean leader of the First and Second Carib War. Mamalia shook her head and made a funny look. What years? Kush shook his head. 1769-1796. Mamalia Said Urong 1797. Kush Said Bioneer. Mamalia Said almost doesn't count. Kush Said Ok Tupac Shakur. Mamalia quickly Said, born Lesane Parish Crooks on June 16, 1971, died September 13, 1996, also known by his stage names Bilipak and Machiavelli. He had several family members of the Black Panthers: Mutulu Shakur, his stepfather; Asata Shakur, his step-aunt. Billy Garland was his biological father, and Afeni Shakur was his mother, born Alitefai Williams, Januari 10, 1947 till Mai 2, 2016. She was also an American activist. Kush Miled Godness, Rachos. That's not even the question, Mamalean. You just talk of the question is, what album was Billy of America's Most Wanted on? Mamalia Said Al-As on Me 1996. Then she said while she was shaking as if she was singing and dancing, "I ain't nothing but a gangster party." They both started laughing. They played the game for a while, and then Kush talked about his grandfather. This thing they are doing in Mississippi is getting worse. I think they are trying to start a war or something. Mamalian turned and said to Kush, "Samuel is alright. I see him and your father laughing and joking around with some of his friends. They are guarding the west side of the bridge now. He's going to be alright." Sabaoth got him covered, and besides, it's not his team, na team son, anyways, Samuel is a mighty man around here, and when it comes to fighting, he can hold his own. Everyone within Samuel's reach is enlightened. Hell, I hear tell it you got skills too. But that Samuel doings, he's teaching you everything he knows because you have to join the military for 2 years. That's mandatory for everyone. It always amazed Kush at Mamalian's gift as he turned to her. "Thanks, Mamalian. Pops and Daddy have been teaching me ever since I can remember. I just miss them." Shaking her head, "No problem, baby. War is home and my family come here," Mamalian explained. "We were sent here because of a boxigun." Kush interrupted, "A boxigun?" Daddy never finished his story. Mamalian looked at Kush. Where did he stop? Kush looked up as he talked to himself, and had a look of confusion. "Well, they were heading to Tucson, and hold on, Mamalian. A boxigun wasn't born yet. I don't think he was even a child when all this happened." Mamalian interrupted, "Now, child, I don't really know many of the details about how they got there. I know about when they got there. You say, I love stories of love, and those are the ones I remember the best." Kush got excited. "Tell me one of your stories." Mamalian shook her head, but it was more of a sigh of relief. "Well, it's a long story, and I'll tell you when we get back so I can relax and explain everything, but I can tell you a short love story that I was finna tell you when we were back there, but you got all embarrassed about your little girlfriend." Kush began blushing as she continued. "This is a story of how our bloodline almost didn't make it. It's because of that word called love, me and you are here to die." Mamalian gave Kush the reins. "I got to put something on my stomach first. Here you take this for a minute while I fix us some teat." You's hungry? Tushe replied, yes ma'am. She grabs a loaf of homemade honey wheat bread, some tuna, celery, and added some mayonnaise. Looks like someone didn't put this mayo up. Valley, that man is Adam Slob, can't clean up nothing, and as like he can't put up nothing either. What is a few steps to put this into ite box? If this mayo don't gone bad. Mamalia looked at the jar careful, but it still looks good, I think. Adding a small amount of mustard and she whips them up some sandwiches. Let Mamalia tell you of a beautiful love story. A Veronic neu Mamalia loved to tell stories of love and determination. It was part of her gift, and she enjoyed it. She platted the condiments in some ite and handed Kush a tuna fish sandwich saying this is base of a true story. It actually happened. Rubbing her hands with her fingers. Where do I start? Well, about 1200 years ago or so I guess, back in 1992, when Ajani, our ancestor, most people knew him as Da Singa, when his firstborn son was born, named Justin. You say, our descendant, in which our bloodline flows, had the same name as his brother after he died at age 26 of sickle cell anemia, back in a time when marriage was a complicated thing for people of color. Slavery had ended about 120 years or so. Jim Crow laws were still in effect, but hidden. Women were given education, and men, well, not so much. There was a great division, but this was a well-thought-out plan by the majority, and they started separating us without us knowing it. The women became the breadwinners, and men well again, they were being rejected for not being the providers of the household. A well-thought-out plan, if I must say so myself. Our men were being effeminized and incarcerated with lengthy sentences, while our women became masculine and were allowed to advance globally. The government created a wedge between the two. So back then, no one saw anything coming regarding the mind games and manipulation they did to our people until it was too late. They called the few who saw it and spoke up while it was happening, conspiracy theorists. Mamalia stopped the wagon uhoa, she sighed as the horse came to a complete stop. Looking at Kush, in any other country in this world, people can go back centuries in their genealogy, and you couldn't shame them for having blonde hair and blue eyes, but they used stuff like that to shame us. You say, in these other countries, their genealogy was written in legal books by their families and government, their birth, children, and marriages. You might have had a relative or two who were no good, but you still had a sense of pride about your family. Oh, but not her. They shame us for everything, for having dark skin, woolly hair, or being ashy. But they stole our culture and made it theirs. Giddy up. Mamalia shouted to the horses as she continued, but as he was saying before, Da Singa lived during this time frame. He had 2 girls and 2 boys, and both boys were named Justin. One boy be a woman who despised him, that's the one that died, and be another one, his long-lost love, the Kue. However, I will get to that soon. No, our ancestor wasn't a bad guy. He had moved to Atlanta, Georgia, after serving in the military to pursue a career as a songwriter. He, too, was a great poet as well. In those days, they paid you good money to write songs. She smiled. He called it poetry in motion. During that time, we had presidents, nationwide military units, and you had to pay rent and mortgages. Kush had a funny look on his face. Mamalia smiled, il explained that too later, but we had an entirely different world back then. Anyway, he experienced significant difficulties in life, as a matter of fact, because we don't have some time, we on earth did da singa move there. One may ask. Kush said he didn't ask you that, Mamalian. Mamalian looked at Kush, boy hush, and let me tell you my story. We on earth did da singa move there. One may ask. Mamalian looked over at Kush, he smiled as she continued, Sabaut destined it before joining the military, he lived in Shreveport, Louisiana, because his mother worked as a civilian for the armed services. After he left the military, he returned, but nothing had changed with racism, and the leakage of it. He was a part of a spiritual community dedicated to Sabaut led by the great prophetess Akelamalek. Kush smiled. Oh, he heard of her. Mamalian gave Kush a look again, and he smiled again, he said, and loved this small community with Akelamalek when he returned, but things had gotten worse since he left. Many of the people in the community would listen to his many adventures in the army, and after a while they also was fed up with the injustices against our people, and they wanted to see a world outside of Louisiana.